Hi, I'm Bart Hansen. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the instructions in the video description.
I got a hand for you guys.
All right.
So a rare 2-5 table opened up over at my local card club here in Texas. We typically play 5-5.
Rare 2-5 because it's small, or just for whatever reason?
It just doesn't really run. Usually people just run 5-5 because it's like, why have the $2 small blind and just make it 5 and take all the white chips out? It's usually a big 1-2 or.
This is in the San Antonio area, right?
Yes.
So the thing is that I was saying before that I'm about 99% I'm going to Jacksonville for this bounty tournament because these guys have given me access to the footage best bet, and I'm actually excited about that, and I want to support them, and I get a discount for the tournament. But my next place to go is to Austin, and then I'm supposed to go up to Portland too. So you'll see me soon. What's the deal with the whole poker thing down there and the raids? Is that shit all over with now?
Yeah, it's all over with. So post Prime is actually opening up like September 7th or something like that, and that's the one that's like right at the Galleria Mall, which is probably like the top spot in Houston. So they're reopening, and yeah, basically,
okay,
everything is back to normal.
So is this a capped game, 2-5 or what?
No, we usually typically like with any game that's like 1-2, anything that plays one bigger than 1-2, people are just usually it's uncapped.
Okay.
I think it was 1,000 to start
and just
the table,
whatever.
but yeah, then it's match the stack at that point.
That's pretty cool. I mean, the thing is that a lot of these areas are doing that now. It's an interesting transition because right around when the poker boom. So first of all, No Limit always used to be uncapped. No one ever heard of a fucking cap. It doesn't mean anything. But then when the poker boom came around, the casinos realized, oh, like we can keep people in action if we restrict the amount that they buy in for. But now, like, the newer sort of areas sort of do like match the stack, which is nice because you can play very deep with bad players that are like typical 1-3 and 2-5 players. You can't do that in LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's insane when you see like a 4 or 5 grand pot in a 1-2 game.
Right,
like,
right.
It's just absurd.
So what are the stacks here in this hand?
So I'm 1380 effective, about 1400 effective.
Okay.
There's some other guys they lose stacks and then they add on pretty quickly and match up.
Yeah.
So I'm in the cutoff. It limps around, under the gun limps, middle position limps, hijack limps. I'm in the cutoff with the ace 10 of spades, and I put in a raise to 40. Chose a little bit on the larger side,
Ace 10 of spades.
Ace 10 of spades.
Okay.
Yep. Button calls, and then all the limpers all call.
So
nobody likes to fold.
So limp. You make it 40. Ace 10 of spades. Button calls, and then what are you, like 6 ways or something?
Yeah, pretty much. I think the only people we get to fold out are the blinds.
So it's 6 ways, maybe 240, something like that. Okay.
So the flop comes out. 9 of diamonds. We got the king of spades and the jack of spades. We flop a gut shot to the royal flush.
You got a royal flush draw. That's interesting. This is an interesting scenario when you emailed this in to me this morning too, especially with what happens. But when you're up against like 5 calling hands, it's weird. You don't usually get into a situation in No Limit where you're actually betting with a draw for value, but with you having like a 10 in your hand, which means obviously it's less likely someone has queen 10, and I don't even know if people are going to raise off with anything else. Like, you almost want to just bet to build the pot up if it gets checked to you, as opposed to like semi-bluffing. It's a weird little thing that we don't really come into in No Limit all that much.
Yeah, this is really, really like a awkward hand, and I kind of had you in my mind, and then like Piggy, like kind of just like let's just kind of play this out and just kind of be mellow, because I'm one of the more aggressive players at the table with some of the other guys that are they're regular donators to the game.
Yeah.
So the action checks around. The hijack leads out for 20, which is very, very small.
Leads for 20?
Leads for 20.
20 into 240. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I let's say the hijack had led for like 60 or 70 here, like a small bet. That's what's kind of interesting about this hand. You might want to play this hand as when I talk about like high-low types of hands as like a pull. Like your hand is so big, and if the stacks are deep, there can be some really good things that can happen here, right? Like if a queen were to roll off, or if you overflush someone and you're on a free roll, or you just have the stone cold nuts with a bunch of idiots, I could see that happening if it was like a regular small bet. The problem with a min bet, the thing is that like if it got checked to you, how much would you have bet? You wouldn't have checked, right?
No, I probably wouldn't have checked. I probably would have went up probably about like 80 or 100.
Yeah, see, I think whenever
it
you're
was funny because I thought this. Go ahead.
Whenever you're faced, I just look at whenever you're faced with like a ridiculously like small min bet, I just treat it like a check. So if he had bet 60 or 70, I don't have that much of a problem with calling, but this is kind of ludicrous here. Like you probably should just raise an amount that you were gonna bet anyways, unless like there's some dynamic where you think that you can call and some idiot's going to put in a raise and you can just like stuff it in his face or something like that.
That's exactly what I was hoping for. Like there was some other couple maniacs on the table. Like if they flop two pair, anything with it, like an inferior, I guess, flush draw at this point, they were going to raise the price up for me. So basically the table was going to bet my hand. So I just decided to call. Everybody else decides to call. So I'm like, all right. This is getting a little awkward.
So now it's like 360.
Nobody folds.
Yeah. So now it's like nobody 360. Folds. Okay. Yeah.
And then the turn is the 8 of hearts.
Okay. So king of spades, jack of spades, 9 of diamonds, 8 of hearts. You have ace 10 of spades. So you've got the nut flush draw. You're open ended, and you have a royal flush draw. Okay. But you don't have a hand yet.
No hand yet, exactly. And I still have everybody. I'm like, what, 6 ways to hand? 7,
yeah.
1, 2, 3, yeah. There's 7 people in this hand. I'm basically like sitting in the middle, like, okay. So under the gun checks, this time middle position bets for 40.
What?
And I'm like, alrighty.
Okay.
The guy that led for 20 ducks out. I was just like, all right. I'm here like stuck. I'm like, I don't know what to do now. It's like I don't have a made hand. Another straight, the lower straight came in.
So under the gun checks, MP1 bets 40. The other guy folds. You're next to act on the button-ish, rather than the cutoff, because the hijack folds, basically. And then you've got people behind you.
Yep.
I mean, and then what you got? And you're like 1380 deep with this guy, basically.
Yes, there's still 2 people that are still I could go for stacks with.
At this point, I would probably raise because I don't think that someone's just going to play Queen 10 as a call. I think you got a massive amount of fold equity. If someone has like 2 pair or someone like bottom end like 7-10, I don't even know if they're going to necessarily like raise you back here. I mean, it's a little bit different on the flop where you can play it as a pull and then you have 2 streets. But now with like 1 card to come, also too, like if a queen comes, it's gonna be a 1-liner to a 10, which, well, actually a queen would have been a 1-liner to a 10 anyways. Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, the other thing though, on the flip side to that though too, is any 10 is open ended. Now,
right, that's what I was like. So any 10 or
so if you let a 10 in and then you get like a magical queen or something, you could stack somebody. I don't know. I think but then it's got to be an offsuit 10, really, right? Like you gotta like have like a, or excuse me, you just got to be an offsuit queen, right? You gotta hit
whenever I saw
queen.
that, yeah. When I saw the turn, I was just like, why didn't I put a raise out on the flop? I should have I was like, why didn't I just raise on the flop when I saw the turn? So I felt like I was kind of like capped. Like, what am I gonna like raise here and get called by worse? If not, somebody already has a straight, and I'm just like hoping for a spade to come on the river, I guess, at that point.
No, but I think that your raise here to like like a raise here to 300 coupled with your equity in the hand is gonna be a profitable. Yeah, I mean, you're risking 300 to win 400. The pot's 360. The guy's betting 40. So if you make it 300, like you only need to get folds like less than 50% of the time immediately to make money, and you've got 33% equity against any type of calling hand here. I think those 2 couple things makes this a race. But it sounds to me like you called.
Yeah, called. The button calls, and then under the gun guy calls as well.
So
now
160, it's like 520 now, something like that.
Yeah, so there's still 4 people in this hand.
Yeah.
So we go and we see the river. So the river's pretty good one for us. We hit the Broadway. It comes in Queen of Diamonds.
Oh wow. Now don't tell me what happens here, but you're last to act. Is that right? Are you last to act? Oh, you got the button to your left, right?
Buttons to my left.
So any bet from somebody up front, especially if someone bets who hasn't shown any interest in the hand, like say for example, the UTG, or is there somebody in the blind in here too? UTG checks MP1. It's you, the button, the MP1, and the under the gun, right?
Yep. So right now, under the gun, middle position, and then you got me in the cutoff, and then the button.
So if the under the gun or the MP1 person bets, I'm jamming for sure. I'm gonna jam for sure, because these guys aren't gonna fold a 10. You have to maximize here if somebody bets. Now, if it gets checked to you, that's gonna be a very strong indicator that neither the under the gun or the MP1 have a 10. And then it's a question of, all right, well, I've got one guy left to act. See, if you're last to act and everybody checks to you, you can't really bet huge. Like, say you were on the button here and then 3 people checked you, right? You can't really bet huge because it's very rare that someone's going to have a 10. However, if the 2 guys check in front of you and you can go along with my thinking and they don't have a 10, the button could have a 10 too. So you might just want to target the button. Because to be honest with you, if the button doesn't have a 10 next to act and you bet pretty large, he's going to fold anyways. He's not going to get. You're not going to get the hero call from the button to your left because he's got to worry about the other 2 guys. He can't call as light as one of the other guys. Like if you bet, he's next to act. The guy that can call the widest is the guy that's in MP1 to your right. This is all positional awareness. So you're not going to really be able to get a lot of calls from him anyways. So with 4 people in the hand and I'm third to act with that dynamic, I might make a huge overbet shove. If somebody bets into me, I'm also going to shove too. That's my line of thinking. If I was 4th to act, I don't think you can bet that large.
Yeah.
What happened?
So under gun checks, middle position, dude. There's only 4 of us in the hand.
Yeah.
So it gets checked over to me. Mm-hmm. It was hard to kind of calculate all the pot real quick because everybody else was in the hand, the way the bet was going. So I'd bet 600 here, 600 or 700. Yeah, I didn't get to that high. I kind of wanted to get called by a lower end or maybe some 2 pair hands that are just here because there was just so many people in the pot. So I grabbed 325.
Well, there is no lower end though, right? I mean, the lower end. I mean, it's king. 9 king jack
just
queen
like
8.
Just a one-liner.
Yeah, it's a one-liner. So I think that you can get. I mean, maybe betting 1,200 might be a little overkill, but I don't think anyone's going to fold for 600 or 700. This is different than if the board was 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And you had 8, 9, and you wanted to get called by a 3. That's a bottom end. Here, a 10 is a straight. That's why I would go for the larger sizing. All right, so you bet 325.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet 325. Button calls. Under the gun calls, and then the other dude just folds out, and then they called me. So obviously I tabled my hand. I didn't get to see what anybody else was, and they all kind of just.
Well, I mean, somebody has to have a 10, right? Like the under the gun guy has to have a 10, right? Wouldn't you think? I mean, if you get 2 calls there, and that's the thing. I think that probably some money was left on the table there because of that, but
right.
Anyways, thanks for the call, Pete, and I'll see you in Texas, okay? Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.